Okay. I know that there's noise in the background. My son is singing and drying a dog, and he likes to sing at the top of his lungs. But I want you to meet Brady. And in fact, let me move the camera this direction a little bit. Oops. That's a little better. This is Brady. He's a cockapoo. And he has had 2 dryer seizures in my grooming shop. One, we didn't know he had them. And the other, a new bather didn't read the chart and didn't know to put cotton in his ears. But I'm going to try a technique out to see if we can prevent him from having one today and get him dry at the same time. What we have done is he got towel dried really well and then blown out really fast with a dryer. And I mean really fast, like maybe 5 minutes worth of work, and put up before he got stressed. He got pulled out again about 20 minutes later, and no, about 10 minutes later, dried for 5 or 10 minutes, and then put up again. Now he's ready for me to finish him. And I'm going to dry him with my small Go Pet Club dryer from Amazon because it has heat. And I have a theory that just like human beings who have problems with heat of the wrong temperature around their ears creating a seizure, that dogs do the same thing. I want to say that I have been trying this technique out, and I have not yet had a dog have a dryer seizure while using this particular dryer with the heating element on it, including a dog who was sent to the vet by another grooming shop a couple of weeks ago that during the drying process started seizing and they didn't stop drying. If he starts to seize, I'm going to cease this video immediately. What you should do with any dog that starts to seize is turn off the dryer, the next dryer over even, everything, and hold them until they stop. Usually they last 10-15 seconds and they're done. If they last longer than that, they need medical attention. So we're going to give this a shot. I have discovered, like I said, that working on them in stages, where you do part of them, put them up, part of them, put them up, part of them, put them up, and then finish them, doesn't stop the problem completely, but it helps. And using heat always seems to have helped so far. We'll see if he's the exception to the rule or if the rule applies. As you can see, he's not afraid. Now, I don't know which part is the solution. I don't know if it's the heat. I don't know if it's the cotton in the ears. I tend to lean more towards the heat, makes them a little more comfortable. And this dryer, while it's not that powerful, he had a Canine 3 used on him earlier before he came out here, just to blow the excessive amount off. It's a variable speed, so we're able to control how little or how much pressure we use. Hey baby, I know, I'm sorry. Pulled on a mat in his ear. But anyway, as you can see, I got the vast majority of him dry. He's actually going to look really good when he is dried, the rest of the way under a fan. And when I finish him, he's going to be great. But again, you can look at my arm and tell there's heat involved in that dryer. My arm where the hose sat is bright red. My hand where it was in the way is bright red. The dogs seem to enjoy it. And I think because it distributes out into the room air before it gets onto the dogs, it's not too hot. But used in the wrong hands, it could be too much heat. I never use high heat on that dryer except on seizure dogs. And I've been playing with this for 6 months or so, trying to decide if it actually helped or not. And this was the ultimate test for me, was this dog. He definitely wasn't fighting this dryer. He was not upset by this dryer. He leaned into this dryer. So the heat may be the additional help. I don't know. I do know that he looks good. He's always going to have some curl because this dog's got the most monstrous coat I think I've ever dealt with for a cockapoo. And I'm just going to put him back under a fan to finish pulling the last of it out. But as you can see, there was no dryer seizure. And this dog, the first one he had, was so severe that my son was injured during the process. When he went to pick him up off the table to put him in a kennel, the dog was thrashing so badly he almost dislocated my son's wrist. My son missed a day of work and was actually in a brace for several weeks afterwards. So for this dog to have gone from that on his first dryer seizure to what you just saw today, there's a common denominator here between the dryer, the heat, and the cotton balls, and I'm positive of that. I don't know which one is the solution. I just know that this is a seizure dog who just got dried 99% of the way dry and is loving me for it. He's not upset, he's not stressed, and it makes me very happy. I was really, really worried when we started this.
Okay, because of the dryer noise and the fact that I was having a conversation with Billy while this was running, I've opted to do the audio separately. What you see me doing here is putting cotton into this dog's ears. I have taken a cotton ball and torn it into little pieces and packed it down in the ear canal. If you know anything about me, you know I don't always use cotton balls, but in this case I am, because this is a seizure dog. This is a dog who has had dryer seizures for probably 1.5 or 2 years. You can successfully dry her, you just have to know how, and the cotton is part of what makes it easy for me to do. Unfortunately, because I could not get this dog in for an appointment back in November, she went elsewhere for a grooming for the first time in her entire life. It was a young groomer that didn't understand that the dryer seizures could even happen and didn't turn off the dryer. She kept on drying her. Lexie ended up at the vet clinic where she spent 2 days recovering from a grand mal seizure. We'd always wondered what would happen if you continued drying a dog, but with absolutely no way to find out, we had no way of knowing. I had a theory in the back of my head that if you had a dog who does dryer seize, it would turn into a full-blown seizure. But I wasn't going to push the point and try to make it happen. However, this other groomer did it for me. I was terribly upset by it and was really concerned that I would never be able to groom this dog again safely. But as you're about to see in the next few minutes, I'm completely able to get her dried using my smaller dryer with no nozzle, on low setting, and using the heat setting on this dryer as well. The dryer that I'm using, excuse me, is my Go Pet Club dryer from Amazon. It's under $75 shipped if you have Prime, and it's a valuable tool in my arsenal. If you've read my actual blog where I actually did a product evaluation of it, I didn't like it very much, but that has changed. I do think this dryer could be dangerous in the wrong hands because the heat setting is hot. And oh my gosh, is it hot. You have to be very careful with it that you don't let it get too hot. When drying Lexie, I had it on low setting and low heat. At one point, you can't see it, but I kicked it off with my foot and turned the heat off. And yes, my hair is very long and I had to get it out of my face, so I just used it to blow it out of my face. Using this dryer without the nozzle on it and close to the skin, using a circular motion, I'm able to get her fluffed up too. I don't own a stand dryer for many reasons, space being part of the problem. I don't have enough room in my bathing room for one. So we dry pretty much everything with a force dryer, and I've gotten that technique down pat. But back to the dryer seizure part, I want you to notice that the leg that I'm working on is now pretty much dry, and we're going to move on to the body. With dryer seizure dogs, I try to dry from the bottom up, which I do on every dog, but I like to make sure that these dogs are as dry as they can be before I get to their heads and shoulders, because that's where the problem tends to arise. On her, I'm jumping around a little bit because I'm trying to not stress her, and I'm trying to get as much of her dry as I can at one time without worrying about her getting too hot too. My theory behind the dryer seizures is that it's not the noise level. And I know people will argue that with me, but I don't think it's the dryer necessarily that's the problem. If that were the case, more of these dogs would have problems sitting in the room with the dryers while they're waiting to be dried, or while other dogs are being dried and they're waiting for a bath. And they don't seem to have that problem. There are rare exceptions, and I believe Terry DiMarino has actually said she had a dog that could not be in the building if there was a dryer going off without having one of these seizures. But that's very rare and doesn't seem to be reported by anybody else. That seems to be the only report of that I've ever heard. We take no chances with this dog, however, since her incident in November. And the minute she had had a bath, she came into the main grooming room to be dried by me. We did not keep her in the bathing room any longer than we had to either, because that's where we do our drying. She was in the bathing room long enough to be bathed, and that was it. I didn't keep her in there. Now watch, as I'm getting closer to her head, she's not pulling away, she's not panicking. She didn't like the air in her face just then, but she's not panicked, and she's not trying to freak out on me or anything. And in fact, if you'll notice, it's almost like she doesn't realize what we're doing. Right there is the only time she's giving me any trouble. And I backed off away from her face and head and went to her body from there. I felt her tension and I moved. Now, it looks like I'm holding her around the neck, but I'm actually not. My hand is just on her chest. And any gripping that I'm doing at all would be just on her jaw, which I don't even think I'm doing in that case. I think I just have my hand on her chest and under her neck. Again, watch my motion there. It's really quick little flips of the wrist, sort of, and working in a circular motion whenever possible. I am paying attention with my hands, even if I'm not looking at her, as to what she's doing. I would be able to feel her if she started to tense up. But if you'll notice, again, this is on low. There's not a lot of air moving, and I've gotten her dry, completely dry, including her ears now, and she's not stressing, and she's not giving me any problems. This dryer puts out a good amount of heat and a good amount of airflow. I wish I could prove one way or the other what it is about this dryer and my technique of using no nozzle that makes the difference, but I can't. It's a theory. It's unproven, but I've just shown you with two different dogs, Brady being the first And now Lexie, that you can take dogs who have had massive dryer seizures and dry them successfully using a high-velocity dryer with the right dryer and the right techniques. I am sure that the cotton balls in the ears play a part, but I'm also pretty sure that lukewarm air or cool air plays a part. It's almost like it's a cluster of ideas and a cluster of events that cause this to happen. It's the right dog, it's the right air temperature, it's the right air force, it's no cotton in the ears. It's just like a conglomeration of events that lead up to a seizure in this effort. By minimizing those events and changing them up to where I'm using no nozzle, a different dryer, heated air instead of cool air, cotton in the ears, a different room with less noise. It just seems like all of the above has changed the dynamic and we don't have a problem. Again, you'll notice she's very calm, she's not stressing, there's nothing going on with her that would lead you to believe she'd ever had a problem being dried. But she spent 2 days at the vet clinic after another groomer dried her with a force dryer and didn't stop when she came into distress. And at this point, I'm going to quit talking because I think I'm going to start talking on the other video. Just wanted to show her, now that she's dry and brushed out, she's actually straight too, and that was really low pressure drying. I've used the low setting with a little bit of heat. I am still of the opinion that the heat is what is causing the problem, not necessarily the noise level and not necessarily the speed of the dryer. I think a lot of it is the heat level, and it's the lukewarm air or the cold air running over their ears that causes a problem. And this is all conjecture. I have no proof of this, but that's my theory on this. The cotton keeps the air from running across their ears. And I remember to take it out when I'm done. In order to put it in, I take it into small pieces and push it down in the ear canal, so I have 2 or 3 layers. That helps block it too. But there is a theory in humans that warm air, like from a hair dryer or even a heater vent, can trigger seizures. And I think it's the same thing in dogs. But again, this is all conjecture. I have proven today that a dog who almost died from a seizure that was induced by a dryer recently at another shop, not here, can be dried successfully with a force dryer with no adverse reactions. I do it quite often. If I can put the dog on my table and use my smaller dryer with heat to dry them, they do not seize. We can put cotton in their ears and use a regular dryer, the bigger one, and it still will have a seizure. So we don't do that, obviously. But doing it this way, they don't seize. So it has to have something to do with temperature or air pressure. I'm not sure yet, and I don't have any scientific way to prove either way. But that's my theory. Heat and lower pressure does allow you to continue drying the dogs with a force dryer, and then you can get a decent finish. Because otherwise, she would be cage dried and she would look awful. But anyway, Lexie, you ready? You can tell she's nervous. You can tell she's still very skittish. She's about 13 years old, and she started having dryer seizures within the last year. And the last one she had at another shop, because I couldn't get her in, sent her to the vet clinic for 3 days. So it was bad, because they didn't stop when it started. If she had shown any signs of starting one, I'd have stopped immediately and we wouldn't have done this again. But I've been able to do her successfully this way before. So we decided we'd try it, and we were successful. Yay us. Yay Lexie.